Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really profound psychological text on what's called the architecture of subjective truth. We're going to completely shift how you understand the absolute foundation of your daily decisions. So let's just dive right in.
So let's kick things off with a pretty massive question. Are your beliefs actually true? I mean, we all kind of walk around assuming that the things we hold as undeniable facts are, objective reality. We treat our personal worldview like it's a perfect, high-definition replica of the world itself. But the source text challenges this right out of the gate. It forces us to ask whether our deepest convictions are genuine representations of the truth or if they're actually just really convenient mental shortcuts. To truly understand why we do what we do, we absolutely have to start by questioning the validity of the very lens we use to view everything around us.
The text throws a genuinely fascinating psychological definition our way to ground all of this. It defines a belief not as some objective, undeniable fact, but rather as a catalyst for decision-making. Think of it kind of like your brain's own personal algorithm. These catalysts are made up of subjective truths and biases that we've just naturally ingested over time. And we formulate these specific combinations for one very practical reason: to efficiently function in the real world. Notice the heavy emphasis on the word subjective there. What we call a belief is deeply personal. It's constructed from our own individual messy experiences, not from some list of universal laws. Here is where it gets incredibly interesting. A belief? It's basically just a cognitive tool. It is a thinking process created specifically to save your mental resources. Think about driving your usual, everyday route home from work. You aren't consciously calculating every single turn or analyzing every stoplight, right? Your brain is on autopilot to save energy. Well, your beliefs function the exact same way. They aren't these solid, unchangeable truths carved in stone. They're essentially biological software designed to conserve your mental bandwidth. Instead of analyzing every tiny detail of every new situation completely from scratch, your brain relies on this prepackaged thinking process so you can actually get through your day without totally burning out.
Think of it as this incredible mental efficiency engine running in the background, operating in a continuous three-step loop. First, you encounter a situation in life. Something happens. Someone speaks to you, a random problem pops up. Second, instead of processing all of that raw, overwhelming data, your brain automatically routes it straight through your existing belief system. It acts exactly like a background app on your phone. And finally, you get the output, an efficient decision. You instantly know how to react because the belief has already done all the heavy lifting for you. It's a completely streamlined process that lets us swiftly navigate what is honestly a highly complex reality.
And this perfectly explains the everyday friction we feel with reality. It's exactly why certain days feel like an absolute breeze, while others leave you completely exhausted. When a situation aligns with your beliefs, it's just mentally less stressful. The puzzle pieces effortlessly snap together, and your brain doesn't have to work hard at all. But when a situation is totally unaligned with those established beliefs, wow, it demands immense, effortful mental gymnastics. You experience massive mental stress because your trusty energy-saving software is failing to process the situation, which forces you to manually and exhaustingly figure it all out on the fly.
So this brings us to a really crucial distinction: the sharp contrast between efficiency and effectiveness. Beliefs absolutely help us operate efficiently. They speed everything up tremendously. But the text heavily warns that they may not always be effective. And why is that? Well, because they are highly influenced by our biases. We're talking about the specific, quirky biases we've been building for ourselves our entire lives. Sure, a fast decision is an efficient decision, but if it's built on a heavily biased foundation, it might literally be the worst possible decision for the reality of the situation. So while these mental shortcuts are lightning fast, they come with some pretty severe limitations when it comes to actual accuracy.
Now, we really need to pause here for a second because the source material gives us this incredibly stark warning. It doesn't just say our beliefs are a little bit skewed, it uses a much heavier, more intense word: polluted. Our internal efficiency engine is fundamentally flawed because it is quite literally polluted by the biases we accumulate. Every single experience, every ingested subjective truth adds invisible layers to this pollution. This means that whenever we blindly rely on our beliefs to make decisions, we're essentially pulling water from a contaminated well. It is a deeply humbling realization, right? To know that our perfectly constructed mental efficiency engine is operating on highly compromised data.
But hey, because of this unavoidable bias pollution, the text actually gives us what I like to call a mandate for maturity. It states very clearly that beliefs must evolve and that they are meant to be changed as we become mature in life. I find that incredibly empowering. It means our convictions aren't static monuments that we have to fiercely defend at all costs. Instead, they're meant to be flexible tools. According to this psychology, true maturity is recognizing that your initial mental software was flawed from the start and requires constant updating. Evolving your beliefs isn't a sign of weakness at all. It's the ultimate proof of your psychological maturity.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to reflect on the mechanics we've just uncovered together. Think about the intense mental stress of those unaligned situations, the invisible pollution of our lifelong biases, and the absolute necessity of evolutionary maturity. Now, I want to leave you with this provocative question. Which of your beliefs is currently costing you too much effort to keep? What mental shortcut are you stubbornly holding on to that's just generating friction and pure exhaustion in your daily life? Because maybe, just maybe, it is time to let that belief evolve. Thank you so much for joining me to explore the architecture of our minds. Keep questioning, keep evolving, and I'll see you in the next explainer.